wasn't the difference between the way we're approaching the music now, and I talk about this with my our own fans and friends in the Discord, the J Music Discord. Like, the music was a fact of life for them. It wasn't a thing that they were trying to reach and impose and import into their lives like we're doing now. And the reason why it's like an import for us is because no matter how much we love the music, no matter how much we absorb it, and how much we might even try to live the lives almost similarly to them, we can never really be truly engulfed into the music as much as they are, because the music isn't popular anymore. It's not the thing. It's not, and even after jazz music stopped being popular, 70s, 80s, like when it started, it was like kind of this other niche kind of thing. Even then, there was still like a community, an organic community that was developing from the people that were alive, even though the masters may have been leaving them at the time. There was still tons of people from the bebop era and swing era that was still alive that were very much making up the scene of what we know, what we knew of it, today. And so I think that's one of the big differences, that now jazz is being taught to us through the schools. And I'm not going to get on some soapbox about jazz education, because I think that no matter what you think about jazz education, it is inherently a good thing no matter what. So I'm just going to say that right now. I think no matter what problems we have with it and how much can be reformed, the fact that like millions of like 13 to 18-year-old kids around the world are able to be into this music and play it on a high level means that something is working. And I think the thing that is working is that we have an environment, not just a safe environment. That's the argument people always like to use, is like, oh, it's a safe environment, you don't got to be on the streets. No, it's a concentrated environment where people can share the same ideas like fast. They can share the same ideas and talk about them in different types of forms and mediums that relate to our current modern day lives. And that's why jazz sounds different now than it did in the 50s and 60s, and why it will never sound the same way it did in the 50s and 60s. So critics, you got to get over it. Like, we're in a different timeline now. And the reason we're in this timeline where it's like, that's, not to go into a whole other topic, but that's one of the things that I think is so unique about how we're experiencing jazz in this timeline versus the timeline that we like to romanticize so much. Which is like, I'm not here for either modern or traditional jazz. That's not my thing to take sides on. I'm just saying, I think it's just different. And so in terms of the whole taking it seriously thing, I think it's because we have to find elements in our own life to kind of relax. And that's why I, preach about, finding that thing about yourself that you want to express, that you shouldn't feel so afraid to express. Because back in the day, cats were expressing all sorts of stuff. I mean, still to this day, you can talk to 2D Heath and he'll express some stuff to you. He'll express some stuff to you.
Yeah, we can't publicize when he expressed it, but yeah.
No, but again, like, he's living his life.
Yeah.
He's maestro, you know what I'm saying? Like, we love and respect him.
Yeah.
And so we have a responsibility to live our lives, not in the same way, but in the same freedom, and the way we achieve that is by, obviously, we have to look at things in such like a lens, like almost like a vacuum. We have to look at the entirety of jazz history through Spotify, as opposed to like on the street where like this person's playing here and this person's playing here and this person's playing here. Because the only people that can really do that are cats that live in places like New York or Chicago or New Orleans, like places like people who don't live and play. What if you live in Wyoming and you want to learn jazz? Well, you need to just find the things that you can express about yourself honestly and take that and filter it into the things that you learn about jazz. Otherwise, it's like, yeah, like you said, it'll get too cerebral. That's how it gets too cerebral. It's because we're looking at all the elements of it and not the whole picture, and that is part of the whole picture. So.